Binance launched margin trading last week. Tether fat-fingered some money printing, and Bitcoin's price collapsed down to the 55 exponential moving average, the secondary baseline. Is all of this a coincidence? I don't really think so. But again, as with all market moves, there were more sellers than buyers, but we'll break it all down. There's a lot of nuance here. Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin of Ethereum, proposes that Ethereum move over to Bitcoin Cash's chain as a data source while Ethereum 2.0 is implemented, at least the shards that can handle the data state. So we're going to break that down for you guys in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live for you guys Monday, July 15, 2019, your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at CrackingCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing absolutely fantastic today, wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku at the Investor News channel. If you want to support the show, make sure to like, follow, share, and engage in the live chat. So, we've got a fantastic show for you guys today, but before we begin, today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by us. If you are an aspiring trader and you want somebody to walk you through the steps of trading, if you want to learn to trade the way that we do, you can check out all that we have to offer on the premium informational page at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Our education focuses on technical strategy, statistical analysis, building a verifiable, backtestable system from the ground up, and testing that in the live scene. Wherever your experience in trading may be, we're here to help you out. You guys can check that out at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Okay, fantastic show for you guys today. We're going to start off today, as we always do, by giving away some crypto. Nice new contact lenses. Yes, it's not bad. Always a top selection of tunes. Thank you guys so much. Good to see you guys. And we're going to toss those tunes back on because it's Monday. We're pumped. It's a good day. It's a good day, guys. So, big movements coming in over the market. Obviously, I got to spend some good time with my kids. I hedged up, put on more risk on my Z19 hedge short, so actually taking on full risk positions. I got stopped out of one BTC USD long that I had it on ByBit, but I had hedged that up previously on Z19 as I posted to the group, and then I went ahead and took everything that I had on ByBit short as well at the stop loss. So, I actually ended up making quite a bit of money over the weekend and really didn't have to do anything, honestly. Pretty much, again, altcoins, as they continue to do, just continue to slaughter and give bad signals, and I stayed away from those. I didn't put on any new positions over the weekend except what I set up going into Saturday's evening, what I had set up to automatically generate with conditional stop orders, as I posted to everybody. So, everything ended up working out quite nicely. I get to come in on Monday. Look at the markets, see that everybody is losing their damn minds, relax. I spent about a couple hours this morning in DMs with some of the members, just walking through some finer points of hedging and taking shorts and things like that. Also, we had a conversation with a few guys about options contracts, whether that is for them, whether that's not for them. Again, I'll touch on that briefly here and just kind of discuss what we talked about earlier. Options contracts are absolutely fine. You can do a lot. You can hedge up a lot on options contracts, but just remember, the statement that I made a lot, I was wrong about spot price of Bitcoin, but I was spot on with my options contract. I put that on in such a way. Just remember that if you are making a killing when the options pendulum swings in your favor, the exponential growth of complication of putting on that options contract, especially for a new trader, and also liquidity and availability of the contracts, there's not a guarantee that there will be an attractive price on a put or a call. Depending on market, it's going to depend on time. It's going to depend on time. It's going to depend on your exchange. It's going to depend on who is willing to sell puts, and that is going to change based upon market sentiment or individual traders into capitalization. All of that is going to vary depending on the market that you're in. Every moment in the market is unique. So while options contracts are fantastic, when we talk about cryptocurrency, Deribit is obviously going to be the best platform for offering options contracts on hedging your bets, hedging your positions, taking trades to the downside. And while for those who know what they're doing, it is a fantastic option, keep in mind that CFDs were banned in the United States, and that is why everyone has flocked to options contracts. So even though one could argue, I would argue that there is more risk in taking on an options contract than just taking a short on your position and hedging up. For example, I think that it is far more practical simple and far easier for most traders to just simply deposit some capital onto BitMEX, for example, open up a Z19 short where they're going to have expiration, or U19 at this point in time, and where they're not going to have, where they're going to have to worry about expiration, but they're not going to have to worry about funding rate, and they can hedge their entire capital up and use leverage, 3x, 5x, whatever have you, so that they don't really have to worry about liquidation price. Meanwhile, taking the majority of their trades on a platform that I feel is superior, ByBit or Deribit, whichever one you would like to do. I think that both have superior matching engines and both are more pleasant trading experiences. I don't like not being able to trade because of system overlord. But anyways, guys, we came here to talk about the market, so we've got a lot to talk about today. So nothing super special coming out this morning as far as... no. Let's get right into it, guys. I want to thank our current Discord Nitro boosters. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And if you guys want to support our Discord community, if you have Discord Nitro, you can, of course, go to discord.krakencryptocurrency.com and boost our server. We got a special role for you if you do, and we highly appreciate the support. Yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner was, actually Friday's, was Aaron Webb. So congratulations to you, sir. And let me go pull the URL from Friday's video. Sorry, guys. It's so rare that I actually take time off and spend time away on the weekends. Let's see here. Friday's crypto comment giveaway winner was Aaron Webb. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for the support. He asked some fantastic questions, so I highly recommend you go check out that episode if you haven't seen it. And let's pop into the YouTube URL grabber and load up those comments. Yeah, there's a lot more I could say about options. I know you have to be right about just a second. Hey, you guys let me know. Does my audio sound really bad? Yeah. You guys let me know if my audio sounds okay or not. Seems like I am getting a whole lot of sound noise here. Filters. Does that sound better? Sounds good? Yeah, everybody says it sounds good. All right. Later, man. Thank you very much, Sir Scott. Good. I want you to hear the phone call. It does seem like I'm getting a whole lot of lows for some reason, so let me know. I just made a change to my subtractive filter. Let me know if it's bad now, but let's roll. Let's roll. I made the fix, and now it's like way worse. Congratulations, man. You are a winner. Okay. Let's slide over to the live scene. Okay, here we go. So yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner, we've got 24 unique winners who could win. I'm going to assume that probably like at least 2 of these are bots. So hopefully we don't get a bot, man. Let's randomly pick a winner. Junior Heavy Bag, he says, hey man, thank you for all your videos. Saved me from getting raw wrecked a few times. Thank you so much for your support, my good friend. You know the drill. If you get a hold of me in Discord at JustinWise5696, I will tip you some crypto. If you guys would like to participate, we give away crypto every single day on this channel. All you have to do is leave a comment at the end of the video, support the stream, obviously subscribe to the thumbs up button, all that good stuff, man. Bullseye, good to see you, man. Good to see you, man. All right, so let's go over into the live scene with BTC USD. And we'll start off on the daily as we do. Make sure that all our indicators are good. We've got Minx up. We've got Wadatar Explosion. We've got RVGI. which we don't really need right now. So let's make our VGI tiny, and we can make Wadatar a little bit bigger, which is absolutely fine. And we've got our baselines. Okay. There seems to be a problem here. There we go. Put that back on default settings. Okay, now let's go to where PTP signaled the correct true short. Now I know the majority of the guys in the group did this, and congratulations, shout out to you guys, because again, the system is designed to work and ensure that you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. That's the way that I trade. I trade no worries. Okay. When I push the button, I like to walk away from the computer and know. So this is exactly how I train people to trade in the group. This is exactly how I've always trained people to trade. When you become a consistently profitable trader and build that mindset. And one of the beautiful things, I guess, about trading PTP is that it's all, and not just PTP, but everything that goes into it is, it's all designed to be testable yourself. So I was just talking with another member this morning. This individual is a scientist. He's actually a quite brilliant scientist. And he was talking about, how he is a natural cynic, a natural skeptic, the scientific method. Nobody ever invented something really groundbreaking without getting a whole lot of pushback, for example. And I'm doing good, man. And this is absolutely true. And the same thing should apply to you and your analysis of your trading and your analysis of others trading. Okay. As I've said many times on the stream, you got to be really careful about anything in life when people are posting, ludicrous, success stories, or, I'm just absolutely crushing it over here. If you can't back test it yourself, it becomes very unhelpful. And that's exactly why I've designed PTP to be the way that it does, so that you can back test and verify everything. Because when you've looked in the past and seen that, wow, this thing worked for 5 years, and then it works right now with my current testing, I feel very confident in these trades that I'm taking. And so when you take 1 or 2 dings, it doesn't detract from your confidence level. Now you take 20 or 25 dings, it starts to detract from your confidence level a little bit. But again, that's where risk management comes in, so that you can take those dings, figure out what exactly is wrong with your system, apply those fixes, retest it in the back, retest it in the future, and then continue moving forward to be profitable and successful. So I think that, again, to me, back testing is everything. That is one of my big passions in life, is strategy testing, is back testing, is looking at the statistics, is figuring out my statistical edge, because that is, from my experience of every single professional trader that I've ever mentored under, or mentored, or talked to, or have a relationship with, that is how we determine our success. We determine our statistical edge, we derive a statistical edge, and then we hammer that statistical edge over and over and over and over and over again. All right, Ibrahim, good to see you, my good friend. So let's get into the technicals of what's going on. So PTP signaling that short coming in on the 13th of July. So pretty much right after we did the last show. That was that last Friday. We talked about right here at this point in time, we talked about taking a reversal bounce long off the 21 exponential moving average. Of course, we did not have that short signal yet at that time. That was a good trade. Price ended up rising up. Missed my, because I got messages when I posted that. I got messages from other guys in the group talking about, well, didn't miss our first take profit. So again, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for politely teasing me. Missed my first take profit by about $35. Absolutely fine. Price came down. I went over. I didn't go on vacation for the weekend, but I just dedicated time to spend with my 2 older children, because over the last, I want to say like 6 months, not, a little bit around there. I've been working really hard with the members. I've been working really hard in developing PTP. I've been working really hard in developing coursework, and I've been more actively trading than I was generally doing for the 6 months prior to that. And, they're older, they're more independent, they're doing their own thing, but I just felt like, I kind of wasn't, getting enough FaceTime with them. So I did decide to every other weekend, I'm not going to do the weekend shows, and I'm going to dedicate that time to spending with them. I think that that's exactly what I used to do, and I think that I really need to go back to doing that. So anyways, getting back into the technicals. So PTP signaling that short the very next day. And as I posted, I said, listen, we're right back at the entry for the long. The opportunity cost to flip short is ZIL, because right now it is a no loss flip. That's exactly what the majority of the members should have done. Price coming down, even if you would have set that conditional stop order to go short upon the closure. And I went ahead and hedged up in advance because I knew I wasn't going to be able to trade during peak time. I knew I wasn't going to be able to trade in the pocket at daily candle close like I like to, because again, I had plans with my kids. We went and did stuff. So what I did, the way that I managed this, is I set a conditional short order on ByBit, which is where I had my long position originally. I set a conditional short order to go short my entire valuation, right, minus my loss from taking the stop on the long position that I took, to go ahead and hedge all those contracts at a 1x short. And I want to make sure, when I say 1x short, again, that doesn't matter what leverage you choose. I don't recommend choosing more than 5x leverage, because then you're going to have to worry about liquidation price if price starts rising rapidly. But if you just short, you go over to the assets tab on ByBit, or you do the calculations yourself. You just took how much BTC do I have times USD value of BTC right now. That is going to give you your USD value of your exchange account. That one contract on ByBit is $1, unlike Ethereum USD on BitMEX, which is not $1, but I digress. And what you do is you put on that same number of contracts. Okay, you put on that same. So if you have $5,000 on ByBit, then you go short 5,000 contracts. That's it. And you will now not lose money. The only thing you will lose is the funding rate, because ByBit is a perpetual contract. So you're going to pay that funding rate every 8 hours. But if price is moving up and you're short, you're going to be getting that funding rate back. All right. It's actually a kind of that is actually an edge in locking in the funding rate. But you won't lose dollar value. Now, the thing about ByBit's platform is that they are displaying, you're going to be losing crypto, but not dollars. Now, because ByBit's platform automatically generates for you, or does the translation into what is the USD valuation of this crypto that you have, in your unrealized P&L, it's going to look like you are losing money, but you are not. You are not losing that amount of dollars. That is displaying for you the opportunity loss by being short instead of being long, i.e. if you were to be long, you would be making this money. But if you actually go over to your assets tab and just look at the USD value of your exchange account, you're not losing any money. And I think this is what's very, very what was initially confusing for some people who are now trading on ByBit as opposed to BitMEX, because BitMEX doesn't even do this. If you install the Tamper Monkey plugin, for example, it's going to do the exact same thing. So quite similarly, and I think this is also what's really, really confusing for people who just don't have a basic understanding of how to short or how to hedge. You're going to lose. So it's about flipping the margin, right? It's about flipping the margin. Whenever you are in Bitcoin, your base currency is Bitcoin. It's BTC. It is what is on the left side of the ticker symbol. As long as you do not buy or sell, that number doesn't change. The only thing that changes is its value weighted against what is on the right side of the ticker symbol, in this case, BTC USD. So the USD valuation is going to fluctuate, because holding Bitcoin is the same as being 1x long. You are long on Bitcoin. You lose money if it goes down, you lose USD value if it goes down, and you gain USD value if it goes up, weighted against the dollar. But no matter what you do, unless you buy or sell, if you buy one Bitcoin, you have one Bitcoin. Nothing will change your Bitcoin value. But your USD value of that one Bitcoin will fluctuate with the market. Now, when you are sitting in cash, it is very similar, right? You have this amount of cash, and the only thing that will change is how much that USD is valued against something else. Unless you buy or sell, you have the same amount of United States dollars. Their purchasing power might be different, right? Now, obviously, we have to use different terminology when we talk about the dollar, because the dollar is fiat, and so its valuation is whatever the Fed declares it to be. However, what we can do is we can value it against other assets. So for anybody familiar with the Forex market, we can look at, the dollar Kiwi, we can look at the dollar pound, we can look at the dollar CAD, for example, and we can see how that purchasing power fluctuates over time. So it's the same. When you buy Bitcoin, the amount of Bitcoin you have will not change unless you buy or sell, but your USD valuation will. When you are on a futures leveraged exchange like ByBit or BitMEX, and you go short the number of contracts that you have, again, so if you have $5,000 in Bitcoin on ByBit and you go short 5,000 contracts, you have now gone flat. You have now flipped the ticker symbol around. You are holding dollars. And the only thing that will now change is what's on the right side of the ticker symbol, which is BTC. But the USD value on the left-hand side will not change. I do not care what ByBit is displaying in the unrealized P&L. That is not accurate. They are just doing you a favor by showing you the dollar valuation of the crypto you were losing. Remember, you are now sitting in cash. You are not sitting in Bitcoin, right? Even though you are holding Bitcoin, but you also have a 1x short position open on it, okay? So the only thing you might potentially be losing is the funding rate. You are flat, i.e. the dollar value you have will not change unless you buy or sell, but the BTCU amount you have will now change. So if you go short and price moves up, you will lose crypto, you will not lose dollars. You will have less crypto, but that crypto is now more valuable, i.e. you've locked in the exact same amount of cash. Again, the leverage you select doesn't change. You can use 1x, 2x, 3x. I almost always use 3x, so that way I can allocate that margin to other things if I so desire. Maybe I got to get on a bus, so I want to pull out $20 in Bitcoin, pay in Lightning Network, go Eclair, whatever have you. But I just wanted to touch on that because I think that's very, very confusing for some people, how shorting works, how hedging works. Obviously, you can also hedge with options contracts. But again, the complication of that and the education required to understand options contracts, which we will go over in the course, later on, because that is a more advanced concept. I don't care what anybody says. Trading options successfully is not easy, but going short, going flat is. You just look at how much dollars you have, you input that number in quantity of contracts, and you click the red button. It's very simple. Anywho, my family is 2 cats, one of whom is now jealous that I'm paying attention to Justin and you guys. How can I guarantee it won't fill the CME gaps? I don't think anybody can guarantee anything. The only thing I can guarantee to you is that, well, I will be here tomorrow. Unless we get invaded by, Russians, Iran, Panama, they're probably mad at us too. Moving on. So price, after that PTP short signal, which was again confirmed by Wadatar explosion, time transformation also called this short signal. It was the closure below the 13 exponential moving average, which is the primary baseline. Now, we've obviously did some playing around with our tertiary baselines and secondary baselines, okay? And I just want to get away from that a little bit. Not get away from it. I want to continue to point those things out as valid parts of my strategy, but I didn't want anybody to get overly confused. I want things to be very clean and very simple on this channel because my technical analysis and my trading is very clean and very simple. If it takes me 10 minutes to explain to you why I'm putting on a position, if I have to think about putting on a position for more than 5 seconds, I move on to the next chart. Because I would rather not make money than lose money. And I would rather feel good about a trade, every single trade I've put on, than put on a trade that might be a winner and feel anxious about it. Your psychological well-being is more important to you than your profits. Because if you are in pocket, if you are confident, if you are competent and know what you're doing and feel very good, if you're trading in the zone, then you will generate more profit over the lifetime. And we are long-term thinkers on this channel. We are in this for the long run. We are trading to make a living off of trading. We are investing to become wealthy. Two sides of the same coin. All right. There is no better active income than trading, in my opinion. I get to work for myself. I don't answer to anybody. And I'm investing for the future so that I never, ever, 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 ever have to work for anybody in my life and that I can be financially independent and free. And that's the road I've been on for the last 10 years. Watch out for a revenge war from Grenada. What do I think about the congressional ban on tech companies that issue corporate digital coins? I need to look into this more, honestly. I've read just a couple headlines. My general opinion on this is that they're just going to migrate elsewhere. Most of these companies are international or are going to set up international arms, and they're going to do the same thing anyways. And all they're going to do is hurt the American investors like they always do. Like the American government always hurts the American investors. Like that seems to be like their job. Yes, Digi. Wealthy. Money. No, what is wealth? Wealth is freedom, my good friend. So again, deriving passive income from our investments and having a job where we can generate consistent profit to pay our to enjoy a decent standard of living. I think that's freedom, right? So my goal in life is not to be rich. It never has been. My goal has always been to have my income cover my cost of living and allow me to do what I want to do, which is do the show, trade, create new content, strategy test, spend time with my family, go on walks with my daughter, be able to raise my daughter in my image. I don't think living with 2 cats is super, super weird, man. Anyway, so 55 exponential moving average, which is our secondary baseline bounce. Okay, price has retraced about 50% of the distance to the primary baseline on the daily chart. On the daily chart, if, again, the signal is to the downside, the trend has flipped. I know a lot of people are going to be saying different things, such as, oh, Justin, we have tested support. This is a double bottom. We are, testing this resistance order block over here. That's all well and good. It has nothing to do with PTP and are not the more reliable setups. You are free to trade however you want, but I will give you my honest analysis of how I view the market. I believe that we have, again, as I said, we had consolidation for darn near a month after this. Actually, it wasn't quite a month. It was about half that time, but about 2 weeks. And then a big move to the downside. So there are only 2 possible resolutions to this. This is a trend flip. We are going to continue to move on to the downside until we reach, again, our weekly price levels. Let's go over to the weekly chart and go to those levels we've talked about for a while. So we are now on the weekly chart. And we have our primary baseline, our tertiary baseline, and our secondary baseline coming in between the ranges of 6.7 thousand and 8.9 thousand. As I have been saying for a while, I believe that we are in a bull market because we have had a weekly baseline crossover. This has only happened one other time, and that was back here, and that is when the parabolic bull market began, okay? However, it was about 2 to 3 months of consolidation before that actually kicked off. Now, what did we also have following that weekly baseline crossover? We had a couple weeks of expansion, consolidation, pretty big dramatic pull down, and then price just went flat for, pretty much 3 months, a little bit longer, okay? And then we have that boop, 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 and then pretty much things just start stair-stepping after that, right? So very similar. I just want to point something out, right? From an investment standpoint, if, so as a trader, I'm always going to, trading is my active form of income. I need to pull in and generate revenue every month. But from an investment standpoint, because I am also a Bitcoin investor, if you look at this very clearly, you can see something that is often forgotten by investors. If you are out of the market, okay, so I think a good analogy is, I'm going to get my numbers wrong here, but when you look at the stock market, for example, right, I think it's 27 months account for like 90% of the growth of the stock market since 1920, meaning that if you were out of the market for those 27 months, you made $0, right? So what is that? Almost 100 years, a little bit over 100 years? 119 years, excuse me. 119 years since 1920. If you stepped out of the market, then you missed out on the majority of profits, right? There were 27 months that accounted for the majority of the growth. So very similar for Bitcoin investing as well. You can see that these periods of flatness, these periods of sideways volatility are not attractive to trade in. But if you are an investor in Bitcoin, if you step out of the market, then you miss out. Again, look at this movement right here. 1 month accounts for almost all of the growth over a 4 to 5 month period. Okay, things to realize when you are looking at what to do with your holdings. But anyways, going back to this example over here, following that, we had that pullback back down to the weekly. One could argue again, now that we have the tertiary pulled up, we did break below the primary baseline, but we did hold the tertiary baseline, and then it was off to the races ever since we held that level. So that is something that I would be looking for over here. Again, I've said this for weeks, that a couple weeks of stair stepping up, consolidation, dramatic pullback to the weekly 13 exponential moving average, potentially dipping as low as the weekly 21. That would be putting us between 7.9 and 8.9, which means at 10.5 we would still be in for a $2,500 correction, potentially a little bit more if we're taking in wicks to account. Now, I do think, as I said Friday, going off the air, I think the trade is to the downside. We are having a pop back up. People are going to try to buy the dip. That is fine. I believe that is a short-term trade. When will be the time to really buy the dip? When there's never really a time to buy the dip if you're not an investor. If you are a trader, we don't buy dips. We trade trends. The trend has broken to the downside, i.e. the trade is to the downside. So my positions remain open. The lower time frame 55 exponential baseline bounce is obviously there. What is ATR right now? We'll give us some targets on that. Let's bring open Quadriga. All right, so daily ATR on this candle is 999, meaning we're still going back over here and using 545. Let's input 545. Using custom values, of course. Okay, good. That's already set. Why? Because these fuck you candles are throwing off our average true range and filtering our volatility information through two candles that are irrespective and uncharacteristic of the entire market. And we want average volatility because we're looking for average trades. So anyways, what are going to be some likely targets if we came in here on the close of this candle? Target one would have been 10.736, 11.281, 11.826 going off current volatility. With our long qualifier coming in at 11.893. Now, actually, no, that long qualifier is bupkis. That doesn't matter. So not quite yet to target one coming off of this. And of course, those targets would be a little bit low. So of course, 98.61 plus 545. 10.406. Terrence Cooper, thank you so much for the sub over there on YouTube, my good friend. All right, so looking at a primary target of 10.406, which we would have hit. So if you were using the correct ATR value and you took that 55 EMA baseline bounce, you have already hit take profit one. Your stop loss should be at break even. Might I say that maybe even a trailing stop loss that is tighter than break even based on the fact that you are taking a secondary baseline bounce and the exact opposite direction of where the dominant trend is right now, because the trend is clearly to the downside. So where are some areas that we could be looking for if you're not short? Where are we looking where you could get into a short? Obviously going to be around 11.1, 11.2. That is where our secondary and tertiary baselines are coming in at. I would make an argument and be more aggressive moving down to lower time frames here. Again, if we go down to the 12-hour, we have a baseline confluence coming in right here around 10.5, 10.6. We have our primary and our secondary baseline coming around at 11.1, with our secondary baseline coming in here. Excuse me, I meant 10.8. With our secondary baseline coming in around 10.8. So again, you guys know how I feel about EMA crossovers and cross unders. I think that they are indicative of long-term trends. When our EMAs go flat and sideline, that is periods of consolidation. So looking at the 12, the information that we can derive from this is either we are going to very soon get an EMA cross under, which would lead to a more violent correction to the downside, or that we are going to go flat and consolidate for a little bit, which means either way that the trade is overall to be hedged. And then if you, which means holding your short open, which means holding your hedge short open. If you feel like taking profits on your high risk short, for example, on your Z19 position, for example, that's absolutely fine. That is going to be a personal decision. Again, we have already hit multiple take profits utilizing ATR from the entry position on that trade. Backup channel says, now I'm a BTC maximalist. Do I believe that Wednesday will play a factor on whether Bitcoin will go up or go down? What is extremely significant that is happening on Wednesday? Red. Wish I would comment on what? So, okay, I need to do more research into what Tether did. Me and Scott were talking about this a little bit this morning, but I had too much to do to actually research it as much as I wanted to. So, again, I'll poll the community. I'll see what happens. I'll go to where I search for information and give you guys, hopefully I want to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. I've got other stuff that I want to talk about more tomorrow as well. But what I will say is this: margin trading launched on Binance late last week, the 10th. And then during the weekend where, Bitcoin has one of its most significant corrections so far this year, we get, Tether Treasury fat fingering a burn. It just seems really coincidental. Is it possible that is a coincidence? Yes, absolutely. In fact, honestly, that's probably the more logical answer. But it's just, as I've said, the same with Bitfinex, the same with Tether. Anytime they do something fishy, that's going to ruffle my feathers because I just don't trust them. So people are always going to be prone to assume the worst. And whether it is benign or malevolent doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, I don't trust Binance. I don't really trust what they do. Or excuse me, not Binance, Bitfinex. I don't trust Bitfinex and what they do over there, and the Tether Treasury by association. Did I get hammered or punch in the face or something? No, that's just the natural bags under my eyes, brother. Do I know that the Earth is actually flat? Tis not. Tis not, my good man. Tis not. And when you come to me with a flat Earth model that explains gravity, that explains velocity, that explains momentum, and use different words besides density and buoyancy, because both only exist because of gravity, and they have nothing to do with gravity, then we'll talk. But there's no world model. There's no flat Earth model. The Earth is not flat, my friend. I am a doctor, says I'm long at 98.80. I'm fucked. Amped. It's about time I got a good play too. Awesome, man. Awesome. Oh, right. Yeah, David Marcus. You know, here's the thing, man. Like, can there be massive market volatility on Wednesday? Absolutely. But we've had other big events as well. I think this is really important. I think that I don't want to understate or under impact the significance of what could happen on Wednesday. So very similar to trading Forex, very similar to trading stocks. When you're moving into a high news event, the safest thing, unless you have a strong bet on which way price is likely to go and you have a 50-50 shot of being right or wrong, you don't trade. You don't trade on that day. You put your money on the sidelines, you go to the beach for the day, man. So anyways, let's go to... Okay, so anyways, on the 12-hour chart, that's what we're looking at. We do have obviously targets there. If one was looking to get back into the short that they're not already in, or if they have already taken profits on their short, they're still hedged and they're looking to add another. Full risk position. Going to the 4-hour chart, we're already there. We are testing the primary baseline on the 4-hour chart. We have the tertiary baseline above. One way that one could structure this trade is obviously to look to average in around those two EMAs and then set a stop loss above the secondary baseline. Or again, one could be a little bit more conservative and look for the entry at the secondary baseline. But again, remember, those are reversal trades. So on the 4-hour time frame, if we do end up closing above the primary baseline, I guess the common parlance here, the way I would look at this is that there's always a reversal baseline bounce trade. So on the 4-hour, that is no different from the daily. The trade is there right now. If you're not using the 13 as your baseline, they're going to be using whatever baseline you want. If you're using the tertiary baseline, the baseline I use is tertiary, which I use for crossovers and other things. So the 21, for example, then you should not even really be looking at the 13, and you should be looking to execute that reversal trade off of the 21 and not the 13. Using obviously ATR as your stop and target system, because we are very, very close to be getting an executing signal on the 4-hour time frame. Minx is about to cross above the zero line. Wadatar is confirming along. We have bottomed out to a degree. There is good volume on that reversal candle. We are approaching on good volume. Again, the play until the signal comes is always to take the trade in the direction of the trend at the baseline. That's the only type of reversals we're allowed to take that do not require discretion. That is a built-in part of PTP. But just letting you guys know, obviously you can tell, you guys don't need me to tell you anything. You can see the indicators right on the chart. If we do end up closing above that baseline, then I would assume that Minx would also be crossing above the zero line and we'd be getting a signal to go long. Justin, you remember in old times we used to straddle on news. Those days are gone. So the size of a body of water does not change its relationship to gravity. Water bends, bro. If you look at a level, like the tool called a level, there is a bubble of air in there. And if you look at the edges of the bubble, it is a sphere, or, I don't know, I don't know what the shape is called. But the water bends. It's elliptic, okay? It's elliptic. Concave. So water bends, man. And the size of a body of water does not change its relationship to gravity. Again, this is why physics works on galaxies and stars and also on bacteria on your skin. Okay, so getting back into... Always seems like we get sidetracked. Gravity, or gravitation, is a natural phenomenon by which all things with mass or energy, including planets, stars, galaxies, and even light, are brought towards one another. On Earth, gravity gives weight to physical objects, and the moon's gravity causes the ocean tides. Thank you, Turd Ferguson. I shall not. 10,000. It's like, hey man, I'm out. You guys are talking about flat Earth. 10,600 is the current resistance level. Correct. Yes, that is where the 4-hour baseline is. Cool. Well, keep a crypto, man, or get out of the chat, bro. Moving on. Daily time frame. Actually, the more significant resistance level is going to be around 11,000. So between 11,089, 11,239, 11.239 is where the primary baseline is coming in on the daily, right? So again, PTP methodology, busting back above that with good volume, and obviously confirmation from our indicators would be signaling us that the trend is going to continue in the dominant direction and that we can go long. Yeah, thanks, Wally. I appreciate that, man. But, you know, I guess it does just fall into my realm because I get amped up about verifiable data. And I don't know. Is it too much of a simplistic thing to just say, like, there's literally no intelligent argument I've heard from anybody who promotes that kind of nonsense? Very similar to Bitcoin Cash. Moving right along. Let's get over to Ethereum. I have a feeling like my handlers over on Discord are like, move to a different topic. In other news, over on Twitter, guys, we posted a poll and we said, where will Bitcoin drop to this time? And 37% of you said 8,000 or below, with Zach Coma saying 9.6. So, if wishes were fishes, we'd all swim in riches. Let's see here. Getting over to Ethereum. As I said, let's actually go over here. Let's make our VGI a little smaller because we don't quite need it at this point in time. Let's go over to Ethereum. We will look over here on the BitMEX chart. Now, Ethereum signaling the short right here where we did close below the baseline. Now, let's go take a gander and see if that was a position we could have put on. All right, so looking at our ATR values, where's Quadrigo? Oh, helps if we unhide it. All right, here's Quadrigo, and we're looking at our daily ATR values. We've got 16.80, and then we peak. Yeah, so 18.86, right? That's when we hop up. So I'm going to be using 16.53. Whatever our values right now. Yeah, 23. Yeah, 16.53. All right, so okay, yep. So actually what's interesting here is we get the short signaled, we're not allowed to take it, and then on the very next candle, we do close above the qualifying line. We close above the qualifying line, there's your opportunity to get in on the short, and dump, dump, dump. And actually what's interesting is the very low of this candle hits your third take profit. Wally, thank you so much for the $15, my man, coming through strong and forcing me to need a sip of my water. You have overtaken me with excitement due to throwing bans around. I need to take a sip or I just will not be able to read your comment. Okay. And he says, my Ripple trades haven't risen very much and likewise also haven't fallen. So please help me understand this flat ZERP theory and how it affects traders worldwide. Learn, earn, and don't get burned, man. Yes, you see, Ripple will not curve. Everybody knows that Ripple is not affected by the density of the total market cap, right? I mean, it's just clear as day. If you actually look at paragraph 8, subsection 2 of Einstein's original theory of relativity, I mean, it fucking says it clear as day right in there, bro. It's like Ripple not affected by Moon's gravity. I mean, come on, dude. And therefore aliens. Clearly. Come on, man. Everybody knows that. Wally, thank you so much for your continued support, man. You are an awesome individual, and best wishes to you guys over there at Gunbot and Gunbot University. You guys are holding it down and keeping it honest for the botters out there. Thank you so much again, man. I find myself an unwilling flat zerper. Is there a setting for the MA or EMA that approximates the baseline that I use? Scott, man, you can go to tv.crackingcryptocurrency.com and add CC EMA to your indicator and use the exact same baseline I do, man. Oh, Piba, the reason the moon doesn't affect ZERP is because ZERP has no liquidity. Right. Yeah. Gravity can influence that, which is not existent. BTC crashing. I mean, it's at 10.5 after ejecting from the daily EMA. I mean, we have literally moved less than $50. That is not a crash. Okay. So, signaling that short, we could have taken the correct short on the 12th, 2019. This is following the, this is following the EMA baseline bounce. So, potentially getting you to reconstruct that. And again, coming back down here to break even and confirming that short signal in conjunction with on the 13th, with the short signal on Bitcoin as well. Just looking back in retrospection and looking at, it's obviously difficult in the moment to make a prediction about future price. And you need to have a system that you're confident in to be taking these signals, which are blind, okay? When you develop, here's the thing. When you are backtesting a suite of indicators, like the PTP suite, you are going to have the benefit of hindsight, of saying, oh, this was a good signal, this was a bad signal. When you are trading live money, you do not know what happens next in the market. And the propensity for you to feel anxious about the trade that you're putting on is very, very high. And this is why it is absolutely essential that whatever way you want to trade, that you have backtested your strategy, that you know 100% what risk you are incurring, what you are, what position size you are taking on, and what the rest of your capital is doing. Okay, this is why in our education, we start with not only building your technical strategy, but also risk management. If you guys go look in the premium webinar series, I would say about 25% of our education is devoted to risk management and understanding the nuances of the exchanges that you trade on. Get off those low time frame, boys. All right, so looking at Ethereum here on the daily, that's enough jibber jabber. Let's get to something interesting. Closing back down below the 55 exponential moving average. So obviously being patient, waiting for the short at the time when we could have taken it would have generated great profit. All take profits have hit. We're obviously putting in what everybody's going to be calling a hammer candle. People are going to be saying this is going to be a Morningstar candle. The pattern could potentially print itself if we do print a bullish engulfing candle. That would be a Morningstar pattern. Wow, it's 12:50, and we've got so much to go over. So let's just break Ethereum down real quickly. Kind of my feelings on this are the same, although the technical levels are a little bit different. Ethereum obviously moving with more volatility. What's interesting to note is that Ethereum, in my experience, is, how do I put this? One tends to move first. Right? So when Bitcoin moves first, Ethereum will follow. And when Ethereum moves first, Bitcoin will follow. So, obviously the only argument here is going to be look at Bitcoin's recovery. Ethereum obviously had more of a volatile move to the downside, so it has just now backtraced that instead of actually putting in anything like a bullish engulfing. But again, it depends on the time frame that you're looking at. But on the daily, it doesn't look overly impressive to me. But again, where is the areas to be watching? Obviously going to be from 266 to 278, looking for a retreat. But as we can see, I think Ethereum is more indicative here of good, clean technicals, as it usually is. Ethereum is actually much more clearly about to evince that baseline cross under, okay? That baseline cross under. And as you can note, we did not get the baseline crossover until back here in the 18th of February. We had the baseline cross up. We had 4 days of consolidation, a peak, a movement that we were short on back in February. Then price went flat for a month, and then it was pretty much stair-stepping up and up and up and up and up. We went on this parabolic move. So I don't really see much that would be different on the reverse. We get the baseline cross under. We have a few more days of downwards. We have consolidation. We have a movement back up, a correction back to the baseline, consolidation for a month, and then blah, 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 blah. So, anyways, let's go down to the LTFs. Oh, the meso timeframes, really. On the 12, we've already had the baseline cross under. So obviously 258 to 278 on the 12, combining very nicely with that 55 exponential moving average level on the daily to be watching for. And then going over to the 4, we have the exact same setup that Bitcoin is presenting to us. I would have more confidence in taking Bitcoin to the downside if you're looking for that 4-hour setup, because Bitcoin put in more potential positive growth, in my opinion. Even if you so you'd have to discount the hammer for that. But again, the argument is, where does the initiation of buying begin, as opposed to how much good bullish appreciation we've actually backtracked on the downside candle. We haven't really backtracked much on the selling pressure that was generated yesterday with Ethereum. ETH funding on BitMEX almost always pays shorts. I opened an Ethereum short like a month ago and bought the amount I shorted on spot. Yesterday I closed everything. My net was 5K USD. That was great, man. That was great. It's a good trade. A lot of people that I know use Kraken to hedge their positions against because their funding is very, very low. So for example, if they're going to be taking a trade on ByBit, often they'll hedge against that initially on Kraken. This is easy. You don't need Kraken if you're just going to do Bitcoin, because you just use the Z19 or U19 contract on BitMEX, for example. But do I backtest programmatically or manually? I do both, but I give more weight to manual backtesting. Programmatic backtesting just helps me identify whether something is good or not, generally. Can I elaborate on why I don't take easy money on like BitMEX times 100, since I'm a pro trader? Because no pro trader goes 100x, at least ones that are in this for the long haul. So I don't sell seminars to newbies. Most of the guys in my group are extremely intelligent people. But I don't know. I don't need to do anything except breathe. But I trade for the long run, man. So that's why I don't 100x leverage. I am patient, I'm slow, I'm diligent, and my goal is to be a consistently profitable trader. We'll see how this 4-hour play off of the 4-hour baseline plays out. You're welcome, my friend. Mnuchin to give an on-camera briefing about cryptocurrency regulatory issues at 2 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be in 6 minutes. Link, please. Red, hook me up with that link. We'll watch it live on the air. Probably get a copyright strike. It's 12:55. I want to look at Forex and traditional markets as well. Beldar, welcome to the Discord, my good friend. You made it. You are alive. USA bans crypto. Then potentially that 4-hour short position is going to be the best trade ever. Where was that on CNBC? CNBC equals dumpster fire. I agree, man. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Don't tell me. I don't got cable in this room. I always just have Twitch on the TV that you guys can't see it, but it's over there. I have a TV, and Twitch is always on there. Or, you know, whatever. Sometimes YouTube a lot. Oh, maybe it'll be on YouTube. If I do mechanical trading, why do I not use bots? Because that is not, because there's nuance and there's discretion, and I don't trust bots to do 100% of my trading. My TV is 24 hours. I don't know, man. Mature it up, bro. I'm not 13, man. Unable to post the link. Just type it out. Don't actually put the link in. Well, I guess that's stupid. Can you get it to me in Discord? I figured it would be CNBC Crypto News. Come on, YouTube. Ah, there we go. All right, we're going to break it down live, guys. I'm going to have to open up OBS and switch the sound settings. Let's turn the music off. We're just going to go right through break on this one, guys. Let's see what the government has to say. Let's see here. Okay, good. We've got all this pulled up, and we're going to do... I'm going to add an audio input capture. Actually, I'm going to add an audio output capture. And this is going to be my speakers. Okay. Make sure that my audio is set to speakers. Good, 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 good. 1 minute and 39 seconds, guys. Great, I need another catch-22 in my life. So you already have an email address on file, so you need to be, Beldar, you need to log in with the right one. So just instead of trying to log in with whatever account you're using now, go to like, you know, reclaim password or reset password or whatever, or I forgot my password, and then put your email in. Log in with that email that it says is on file instead of what you think is. Okay, so listen, guys. This is going to take a few seconds. I know it is. Hopefully the audio works really well. I'm going to be right back. You guys just chill out for a second. Don't go anywhere. Come on, Fox Business. Let's go. Hello. Oh, there we go. Just as I return. Good, perfect.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Recently, as you know, there's been a great deal of interest about digital assets, including cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Libra. There are many regulatory and supervisory
Can you guys hear all right?
questions regarding Libra, virtual assets, and virtual currencies, but I will focus primarily on the serious concerns the Treasury has regarding the growing misuse of virtual currencies by money launderers, terrorist financiers, and other bad players. This week, representatives of Facebook's Calibra project will go to Capitol Hill to discuss the proposal for a cryptocurrency, the Libra. At the Treasury Department, across the U.S. government, and with the international financial community, there's been a great deal of activity recently related to the regulation and the treatment of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. I'd like to give some brief explanatory remarks about what we've been doing on this front, since there's lots of interest, and then I will open it up to questions. Last month, the Libra Association, a consortium of 28 businesses, including
Of course, they're just going to talk
a
about
Facebook
Libra.
subsidiary, announced that it is developing a cryptocurrency called the Libra. The Treasury Department has expressed very serious concerns that Libra could be misused by money launderers and terrorist financiers. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin have been exploited to support billions of dollars of illicit activity like cybercrime, tax evasion, extortion, ransomware, illicit drugs, human trafficking.
Thank you, YouTube boss.
Many players have attempted to use cryptocurrencies to fund their malign behavior. This is indeed a national security issue. The United States has been at the forefront of regulating entities that provide cryptocurrency. We will not allow digital asset service providers to operate in the shadows and will not tolerate the use of the cryptocurrencies in support of illicit activities. Treasury has been very clear to Facebook, Bitcoin users, and other providers of digital financial services that they must implement the same anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism, known as AML-CFT, safeguards as traditional financial institutions. Money transmitters of cryptocurrency must comply with the relevant Bank Secrecy Act obligations, known as BSA, and register with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, known as FinCEN. Many people are not familiar with FinCEN.
You're bad,
it is
bad
a bureau
people, man.
of the U.S. Department of Treasury. FinCEN's mission is to safeguard the financial system from illicit use, combat money laundering, and promote national security through the dissemination of financial intelligence. Last year alone, it collected over 20 million BSA reports and has collected over 300 million in the last 11 years. FinCEN implements the Bank Secrecy Act's regulation and has federal regulatory, supervisory, and enforcement authority over money service businesses and banks. The rules governing money service providers apply to physical and electronic transactions alike. As money service businesses, cryptocurrency money transmitters are subject to compliance examinations, just like every other U.S. bank. To be clear, FinCEN will hold any entity that transacts in Bitcoin, Libra, or any other cryptocurrency to its highest standards. I also recently established the Financial Stability Oversight Council's Working Group on Digital Assets. This FSOC group enables U.S. financial regulators, such as FinCEN,
Justin, edge your accounts, Matt said.
OCC, CFTC, CFPB, SEC, and other key stakeholders to work together to combat risks posed by cryptocurrencies. As the president has said, Bitcoin is highly volatile and based on thin air.
I mean, he hasn't said anything so far, dude. He's just saying
Bitcoin and
money
will make sure that
transmitters,
the U.S. financial
exchanges need
system
to enforce
is protected
KYC
from
AML.
fraud. Given the international nature of
We don't trade on jank
cryptocurrencies,
exchanges.
we are also going to great lengths to ensure that effective regulation does not stop here at the U.S. border. Last month, led by the United States, the Financial Action Task Force,
the FATF.
known as FATF,
Yep.
the Global Standard Center for AML-CFT, adopted comprehensive measures on how countries must regulate and supervise activities and providers in this space. This was a major step towards harmonizing international regulations concerning cryptocurrencies. We have also had extensive work at the G20, and I will be addressing this again this week at the G7 finance ministers in France. To be clear, the U.S. welcomes responsible innovation, including new technologies that may improve the efficiency of the financial system and expand access to financial services. That being said, with respect to Facebook's Libra and other developments in cryptocurrencies, our overriding goal is to maintain the integrity of our financial system and protect it from abuse.
Right.
Treasury takes very seriously the role of the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency and will continue our efforts to protect our country and secure the U.S. and global financial systems. With that, I know there's been a lot of interest in this subject and perhaps a few others, so I'll take a few questions in the back.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Two questions for you, if you don't mind. The first one is that Jay Powell of the Fed said last week that FSOC would be meeting in the future to discuss Facebook's Libra product specifically. Has that happened yet? And then secondly, you talk about Facebook putting this product out.
I'll let you guys be the judge here. I can continue to sit here and I'm going to give my commentary on what I just listened to. I wanted to hear everything. Okay, so I didn't hear anything.
So let me make the first
I did not hear anything except for exactly what Trump came out and did on Twitter the other day. I already talked about this.
Either at the
this is rah, rah, rah. Let me turn down the volume just a little bit.
Or at the deputies level, we've had multiple meetings.
Just rah, rah, rah. America good. Libra dangerous, and this is all being instigated because they now feel that Libra is just going to come in a massive way for the banking services. Nothing that the United States can do, I don't think. Well, let's not. I don't want to undercut that, man. I don't want to undercut this. Of course, there is a lot of things that the United States government, that a coordinated government attack could do to entities like LibraCoin, to even things like Bitcoin. They could make it very, very, very uncomfortable for individuals to trade and transact in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is designed from the ground up to be resistant to be government hard, okay? That does not mean it is guaranteed for Bitcoin to survive a sustained coordinated government attack against its nodes, okay? It is entirely possible, it is entirely logical that something could fail because this is real life and you can always lose a fight, okay? Now, with LibraCoin is obviously, if successful, going to have some pretty profound implications for individuals adopting transacting in Libra as opposed to transacting in government fiat currency. So I'm going to get off of that for right now because we've got a whole lot to go over that is a little bit more exciting than that, I believe. So I'll just touch on this too, by the way, before I get into it. I want to get back to the markets and I want to go over Forex and I want to go over traditional markets, but I want to actually thank this individual. So Alan Walters published this article on Medium, which is a response to one of my episodes talking about quantum computing. So I'm not ready to respond to this yet. I could give my overall statements. He makes a lot of great points, and I think that this article is written very respectfully. And I'm going to respond to this in tomorrow's episode. I'm also going to touch on Jimmy Song's topics on quantum computing and why quantum computing is not a threat to Bitcoin either. But I'll try to synthesize those both, come back to you guys with a more well-polished argument, more well-polished. We're always off to something good when I say more well. Yes. Oh, yes, more well. So let's break down into the news, actually. I do want to break down into the news. You know what? Let's get back to the markets because I think that was enough news for 5 minutes. But I didn't really hear anything there from Mnuchin that was, really concerning in the short term. Will this affect Bitcoin's price? I mean, I don't know. We were dropping and now, it's getting bought up at around 10.4. My short position remains open, blah, blah, blah. And not due to anything that just happened here, just due to the technicals. You trade the technicals, you don't listen to the news. So I think that, again, I don't think that they're going to be able to stop the train. However, it is incumbent upon cryptocurrency developers to continue to improve their platform, right? It is incumbent upon them to continue to enhance and improve the user experience and the reason why individuals want to use cryptocurrency. The reason why I think that Libra is going to be fairly successful is because it is going to immediately do for individuals, something fairly seamless, which of course cryptocurrency can do as well, which a real cryptocurrency can do as well, which is just facilitate easier payments, especially if Facebook is going to facilitate, market-to-market payments or offering a wide array of goods and services. So, for example, if there's going to be some Amazon plugin where you can purchase stuff with Libra coin, or if there's some partnership, who knows? I don't know if Amazon would accept Libra coin as payment, but I don't see why they would not, unless they were to develop their own alternative to compete against them, which I also think is quite likely. But again, I think one of the biggest barriers, again, it just happens with slow growth and adoption. But one of the biggest, I would say barriers is that, the strongest selling point for me with Bitcoin was always security and the ability to be my own bank. And having studied history and realizing why that is absolutely essential and seeing that Bitcoin is just a better form of technology for money. It is the best form of technology for money. Ooh, this I've got to take. Okay, sorry. I've got some maintenance people coming to the house to work on the HVAC system. Are you serious, dude? Okay. Annoying. That's all right. I deleted him. Cryptonomics, reading lips. He is making $1 million crypto deal. Yeah, what you didn't hear was this. Pump it. No. Maybe one of these days. Well, yes, of course, Libra is centralized, man. Yeah, I agree. So, okay, closing that down. Getting back over to the technicals. We've already talked about what positions we're taking and what is the logical technical thing to do. Let's get over into our traditional markets, and we will start as we always do by looking at the S&P CFD on a Wanda. So the S&P CFD setting us up for a very, this is again the 4 hour, and we made this mistake earlier. So again, the S&P 500 riding off of this continuation long that was generated on the 10th. Again, holding that position open over the weekend. Markets opening up last night. On Sunday, the CFDs open up on Sunday at 4 p.m. on Awanda. That's when everything starts trading. Wally says, maintenance on the house. Code word for OTC deal for lots of Bitcoin ready to go down. Leaked documents. There is going to be a new law soon in America that forbids tech companies to start their own crypto. I mean, maybe. Where's the music, Burning Legion? That's a good question. Let's turn it on. We turned it off to listen to Mr. Mnuchin. Mr. Kobayashi, I see that your caps lock key is still broken. I figured that you would have bought a new keyboard in between then and now. How can I post a link in the chat? You post it, and then I approve it. Is how it works. So you post it, I will see it. Music's on, bro. Yeah, I believe that's how it works, yep. Oops. But I have to have, I'll just slide this over here, why not? I don't. I thought that's how it worked. I thought you post the link and I see it. Yeah, try and throw it on Discord or go over to Twitch. But we had to, there's too many people that come in on YouTube and try to spam links. So I don't know how to disable it for you, sir. Yes, that would be a good assertion, Mr. Spooner. I'm going to lean toward anything that promotes human liberty and human freedom and disreliance on government. I think that I'm bullish on humanity. I think that human beings are very good at taking care of their own problems if they are invested heavily in their own life. Do I have Gmail? Of course I do. I have a YouTube account. It's probably a spam link. Yep, contact at crackingcryptocurrency.com, my good friend. You can send it to me at contact@crackingcryptocurrency.com. I'll take a gander at it and talk about it on the show, maybe. Anyway, so SP 500, listen, guys, still bullish on traditional markets. You know, any allocations that I'm doing in my long-term portfolio are still taking place. I still think the market's good. Do I think the market's overheated? Yes. Do I think we're going to have a significant pullback? Yes. Does that matter for an investor? No, doesn't matter for an investor. So anyways, but looking from a trading perspective, again, that continuation long, not only did we get the continuation long, it was also confirmed by Wadatar explosion, meaning that if that is a part of your discretionary position sizing, you can take a full risk on that continuation long, whereas otherwise you would do something differently. Whoa, and Bitcoin breaking up pretty violently to the outside on the 10.7K time frame, looking good. Looking good. Bitcoin bulls don't care, man. Am I planning on doing some options videos for the premium in the future? Yeah. Brej out, Brej out, Brej out. Okay. So with that being said, we can go look at our traditional markets and look at our NQ. Obviously, using that continuation long signal. Let's go back and look at actually the date that we would have got it. So again, CFD, S&P 500, continuation long signal on the 10th of July. So we go back over here and we look at our S&P. Again, one day, actually the same day on the S&P. We go over to the NQ. When did we get that? Okay, we did end up getting the continuation long actually a day earlier on the NQ. So anyway, setting up for this nice last little upthrust. Burning Legion, thank you so much, my good friend, for the $10 donation. Highly appreciated, man. Very, 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 very much appreciated, my good man. Thank you so much. And you have now reclaimed your role in there as the last super chatter. The Trump dump canceled by the Mnuchin pump. So we'll get back to BTC. Be careful, always jumping into highly volatile movements in the market. You want to get into sustained, strong trends, not reactionary movements off of news events. Because the individuals who are pushing price already know exactly what they want to do, and you are trying to jump in a reactionary movement. You could just stay out. You could just not take the trade, protect your capital, and take your trade, right? Because news pumps are not your trade, unless you are a highly capitalized individual or unless you are a gambler. No. Naruto just says, no, fuck that. Moon! Please, Moon, please! Please! Yes. Be careful. Okay. So similar over on the Dow, riding a continuation long that we got on the 10th, price up quite well. So again, that last round of E-mini trades doing pretty good. Let's go over and look at, we're going to skip commods today. Actually, it is the beginning of the month, or the beginning of the week, so I would like to cover commods. Looking at gold, gold continues to consolidate. Again, the best entry being over here at the baseline, long signal above the qualifying line. The long signal above the qualifying line, and then the pullback back down, not only to the daily baseline, but also back within the qualifying line. So obviously the opportunity here to purchase, man. Electrostatic just bought 489 Litecoins. Awesome, man. Remember, dolphins can't float because no gravity, though. So therefore, Litecoin to zero. Right? Is that how logic works? I think that's how logic works. Something. So anyways, Zao, not a clear, obviously we are in a period of consolidation, waiting for the breakout of the breakdown and the strong signal. As you can see, all these trades, Water explosion is keeping you from taking a position in this consolidation, which is exactly what we want our confirmer to do. We want our confirming indicator to keep you out of the market when the trade is not on the table, when there is not a profitable position to be taken, and when most trend following traders are going to get eaten up by the chop, by consolidation. This is why most people aren't able to trade trends, because they don't know how to apply filters to their system to filter out bad signals. Okay. Last week I was yelling down the communists. Best show ever. I try, man. I try. Looking at Palladium. Let's get rid of these. I don't know why we're drawing this stuff. Looking at Palladium. Okay, we did not get a short signal, which is good. Neither did CCI, which is the indicator we've had up on the stream. I think we'll probably switch to a different one in August. Again, we did Ichimoku there for a while, just comparing different initiators. Let's see here. But from Palladium, still that kind of same level of consolidation, just a little bit behind gold, to be honest with you. As you can see, we haven't had as much low volatility coming in from Wada as we've seen. We did close below the baseline right here after a continuation long signal here. So if one would have taken that, again, one might be looking at Wada for confirmation on there. But if one would have taken that, price closing below the baseline, that is a small loss compared to entering here or anywhere over here, for example, and taking that out. But anyways, I digress. There's not really a strong trade to take here on Palladium. Similar with gold. Gold actually putting in a little bit of a long signal. The only thing that concerns me about this gold trade is the lack of volume on the daily. So again, make sure that whatever volume indicator that you're using, that you're actually getting some good confirmation for the trade there as well. I'm not seeing it on my end. This looks to be more of the same level of consolidation with a steep pullback down to the 55. Platinum, again, talked about platinum over here, putting in that long signal again, still riding the platinum long, everything good on there. And again, Zag, again, being fairly neutral on gold, but silver putting up a long. You could, again, look to hedge on Zag if you're going to take just Zag to the upside. Getting to Bentley crude, again, still bullish on crude oil, guys. Still bullish on crude oil. We are not in a position, we're not in a pocket trade right now at the moment. But however, this candle right here would have been a valid entry because we have already gotten a long signal from Minx. Price closes above the baseline and Wadatar confirms. So we would already be in a long signal. We did close above our secondary baseline, coming back to tap it in our cluster of baselines right here, looking for that breakout moving average cross over. Corn. Corn did give a long signal and pulling all the way back down to the daily baseline. So we'll see if that's going to be a winner or a loser. Never comfortable to be in drawdown, but that's just how she goes sometimes. Natural gas taking the trade to the upside, hitting take profit 1 and pulling back down to break even out of the trade. Soybeans, very similar. Long signal generated over, long signal generated over here and then here above the qualifying line. Now we are pulling back within the buy zone, so soybeans could be taken to the upside now. And sugar did throw up that continuation short just on the close of Friday's candle. And again, waking up to a very nice, good gap down. West Texas oil, again, still bullish on this, breaking above. We have got the moving average crossover on the daily, things looking good. And then wheat, not a strong signal to take on wheat yet. As you can see, the long signal we were kept out of by Wadatar and then nothing to do. Nothing to do. Let's go to our Forex markets. Naruto losing, ROE having a heart attack, plus 100%. It's over 9,000. Okay, so Aussie yen, still long on the Aussie yen, guys. Took that Aussie yen long trade. And just a few little, just like one baby pip below my sell limit right there. Come on, baby. Aussie dollar. Okay, so I didn't get a chance to trade FX on Friday, and that was my bad. But anyway, so there won't be new positions that should have been put on. But again, long signal that was generated on the Aussie dollar. Would have been looking at taking that to the upside. But again, I didn't get the chance to trade. Breakout, sick, breakout, what? Naruto, you are funny. Looking at the CAD Swissy, again, this would have been another trailing stop loss situation, but again, getting more used to a Wanda and a little bit more comfortable now in pocket. Looking at the CAD Yen, again, took this trade to the upside, took profit here and here, and then RVGI, here's where we can pull out RVGI. RVGI crossed to the under right here, so I exited the position, and again, glad that I did. We are now pulling back down to the daily baseline on the CAD Yen, so I don't see a trade to be taking. Swissy Yen, no trade to take on the Swissy. Looking at the Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie, again, missed the continuation short on this. This was the signal that was thrown up on Friday. Should have taken that to the downside. I talked about that one on Friday as well. Euro CAD, no trade to take. I took this one to the downside not too long ago. Euro Swissy, nothing to do right now. Euro Kiwi is one that I'm still short on. So again, I've already hit take profit 1. So I'll just let this thing ride for quite a long time. Until the trend reverses, then I get an indication to exit my position. But my stop loss is at break even. And pretty happy with that. Euro pound. Here is an example of why you don't freak out, of why you let your positions play out. Euro pound, entered Euro pound here, a couple days of drawdown, back up right to where I started. Forex market does have good volatility. Now, if RVGI crosses to the under, then I'll get out right at break even, and instead of selling at a loss down here. Euro yen, nothing to do on the Euro yen. Euro dollar, just barely hit my baby right there. Just barely hit my baby. Pound Kiwi, continuation short that was signaled on the 10th. Pound CAD, nothing to do here. Let's see here. The Pound Swissy. Pound Swissy I was in drawdown on, but ended up entering the trade here. in good profits right now after being underwater for just a little bit. But anyways, buy limits down here, and things are going good. Pound yen, continuation short today, so that might be a good short. Kiwi dollar, again, I talked about the Kiwi dollar on Friday, just, throwing up a long signal on the 11th. And Kiwi cat, nothing to do here. Throwing up a long signal on today's candle. Kiwi Swissy threw up a continuation long on Friday. So again, that would have been a good long position. You'd be up quite a few pips right now. Kiwi Yen threw up a continuation long over here on the 10th, so on Thursday. And again, one little day of drawdown and waking up to good profits. Dollar Canadian threw up a continuation short that you should still be riding. Pound Aussie threw up a continuation short. Again, very kind of salty that I didn't get to trade on Friday. But Pound Aussie throwing up a continuation short on Friday. The dollar Swissy is throwing up a short, but it's not confirmed. The dollar yen is throwing up a short that's unconfirmed. The Aussie cat is throwing up a long that is confirmed. The Aussie Swissy threw up a continuation long on Friday. And the dollar yuan is still in a no trade zone. But I want to point this out, man. When this thing breaks, there's going to be a big movement from the dollar yuan. And I would expect price to be going to the downside. Where is your profit on your long position? Help you can't decide. All right, let's go down to the... I don't know, let's go to the 4 hour. So if you entered anywhere around here, your first take profit should be right around here, and your second take profit should be around here, and then you let your profit ride after that with a trailing stop loss. So my base advice is always, when somebody starts asking me, hey man, I'm in profit, where should I take profit? Right now is the answer. You should take half off the table and put your stop loss at break even. Thank you, Kendi. Highly appreciate it, man. All right, 1:33, and we're going to get right into the news now. Okay. So, Vitalik Buterin has proposed to temporarily move the Ethereum data state over to the Bitcoin Cash chain. This is because Ethereum 1.0 cannot scale and is quickly coming to the point where it will not be able to grow at the rate that it is and still process all of the smart contracts and transactions that it does. Now, Vitalik says that on a longer time frame, 1 year or longer, the solution will, of course, be Ethereum 2.0 because it plans to have an execution rate or throughput of 10 megabytes per second. However, since Ethereum 2.0 is not right around the corner, as so many seem to believe, it is incumbent upon them to make a switch, basically is the argument, in the here and now. This is something practical that they can do now. So he claims that they can achieve similar ends to Ethereum 2.0 now by utilizing blockchains that have lower transaction fees per byte than Ethereum as the data layer. So Bitcoin Cash, in Vitalik's estimation, fits that bill for a few reasons. It's got a high data throughput. The relay is already created, ETH Relay. They've got low fees, and the Bitcoin Cash community seems to be okay with anybody using their platform, whatever they like, as long as they pay their transaction fees. Why wouldn't they? Nobody uses that stuff. So he points out that the main weakness of the Bitcoin Cash chain is that their blocks are 10 minutes long. It's the 10-minute block size or block time, and basically the rest of this article after that is just methods on improving that. Right now, he also lists as an alternative, of course, Ethereum Classic, and later on, another commenter recommends Steem. Now, again, all of this will be available in the show notes if you guys want to go check this out. But this isn't too technical, but it does lean toward the technicals. But the link will be in the show notes for you guys to read yourself. So let's go over just some non-technical facts about this. Well, first off, I would argue that the main weakness of the Bitcoin Cash chain is not the 10-minute blocks. The weakness is that it has a low hash rate. It has central controlling authorities who are controlling the hash rate, and it has extremely large blocks that have already led to a bunch of reorgs, right? Reorgs, rewriting the chain. It's already happened multiple times. And not to mention that there are literally a handful of developers working on Bitcoin Cash that can barely keep the chain together as it is without Ethereum dumping all of its data state onto it. I don't think that would end well for Bitcoin Cash. Now, to be fair to Ethereum and to be fair to Vitalik, Vitalik is only proposing to use Bitcoin Cash's chain as a data availability layer for Ethereum 2.0 until the shards are live. Kind of a migration process, if you will. And again, a lot of respect to Vitalik. I've made my opinions on Ethereum pretty well and clear, but again, I want to be as respectful and neutral in this assessment as I possibly can. He is doing what Vitalik does here. He is stating very clearly that what they're doing right now is not working, and that they need to do something to fix the project in the interim while they finish developing the better solution. He is proposing a logical solution with a technical capacity to work in the here and now. And again, as always, as a developer focused on solving the problem and the bigger picture. Unfortunately, this is just a growing pain that Ethereum will have to go through if it is to succeed. Now, I think that the Ethereum team is very smart. I think that they're very capable, and I think that they're dedicated. Again, you guys know my feelings about Ethereum from a fundamental perspective, but I think honestly that it is more likely, my fellow Bitcoin maximalists are out in droves this morning, casting shame and, ringing the shame bell on Ethereum, again, as they might have a right to do. But I'm going to be a little bit more nuanced in this. I think that the Ethereum team is smart. All right. I think that it is more likely that they solve this problem than that they do not solve this problem. I think that Ethereum does have a valid use case. I think that they do have a solid community, and I do think that they have a solid team. I think that they have individuals that would continue to work on this stripped of the financial obligation, but I think that the financial incentive is still there, though, to incentivize them to continue working on this. So do I think that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin? I don't. No, I do not. I do not think that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin. Do I think that Bitcoin will succeed if Ethereum fails? Absolutely. Is Bitcoin a better investment? Yes, because there is significantly less risk, and I think that Bitcoin will outperform Ethereum from both a fundamental and technical perspective. So, however, what ETH is doing is valid, interesting, and valuable in its own right. So, value investors are going to have to make up their own decision on this. Is the risk of holding something that is unlikely to outperform its bigger brother, is that justified, especially with this potential bombshell? Now, as a trader, I will approach this neutrally as I would everything else. However, I will say this as a value investor as well. I think that if and when Ethereum 2.0 is fixed or implemented, I think that most people will look back on the price that Ethereum is currently trading at right now as a bargain basement price. I do feel that way. I feel the same way about Bitcoin. Of course, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Let me know. And, coming on the heels of this, the Ethereum 2.0 research team on Reddit went ahead and published an Ask Me Anything starting 4 hours ago. So I recommend that you guys go check this out. I will actually post this link in the chat right now. You guys can go check out that Ethereum 2.0 Ask Me Anything channel. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I ended up browsing pretty much the first 3 pages of this and summarizing. But I think I just want to point out one thing here. I think one of the first questions was from DC Investor, and he says, what do you feel is the biggest unsolved challenge left in Ethereum 2.0 research, which must be addressed before phase 1 or phase 2 could be implemented in the future? And Vitalik responds, I really honestly don't think that there are unresolved research challenges at this point. It's mostly how do we make this thing more elegant and take up fewer lines of code and have fewer edge cases on the research side. And again, Carl on the Ethereum team says that if we view the entire discussion, next year is my personal target for Ethereum 2.0, but there's a lot that needs done before then. Honestly, I'm going to expect the next 2 to 5 years Ethereum 2.0 to exist. So moving on from that, and potentially more of interest to the traders amongst us, Binance did launch margin trading on the 10th. So the day has come, and we are here. Of course, you need to have a verified account to trade margin on Binance. Oh, if you're American, forget about it. If you are not American or from one of these restricted countries right here. If you are not from one of these restricted countries, then you can verify your account, AML, KYC, and you can trade margin. So let's see here. Assuming you're not blacklisted, opening a margin account is pretty easy. They've got a very quick, easy, informative thing. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do it on my account because I am from a blacklisted country, but I did walk through the steps. It's so simple a caveman could do it. Respect all the cavemen out there. So you just go to your account, you click on this little button. You're going to see margin under your regular balance details. You should have an extra little toggle button there. And you click over. You're going to say, yep, I know what I'm doing. I understand. You're going to complete verification if you haven't already. And boom, you're now going to be able to trade margin. So the way it's going to work is just like Poloniex did back in the day. It's not going to be like BitMEX or ByBit where you just automatically get the margin when you execute the trade. No, you actually have to go into your wallet. And you have to deposit funds into your margin wallet, and that is going to let you borrow additional crypto on top of that. 3-to-1 currently is what they're going to let you borrow. So if you have 1 Bitcoin, you can borrow 2 Bitcoins and trade with 3 Bitcoins. Now, obviously, Binance, for those of you who don't know anything about leverage trading or margin trading, Binance is not going to let you lose their money. You will not be able to lose the 2 Bitcoin. As soon as you lose your 1 Bitcoin in margin, you're going to get liquidated and they're going to take all your money. So because of the fact that you can lose all your money because the exchange will claim it as collateral for the crypto that you are borrowing from them. Now, this does maximize your opportunity for profits. This obviously does maximize your opportunity for loss. So make sure that if you are margin trading, you have done some research and know what you're doing. But it's actually pretty simple. Say you have 1 Bitcoin and you want to trade with 2 Bitcoins. Well, you go to your margin wallet. That's 2-to-1 leverage. That's 2x leverage. You're going to deposit the 1 Bitcoin into your margin wallet. You're going to click borrow. You're going to borrow 1 Bitcoin. Now, here's one thing to note. There is a daily funding rate. There is a daily funding rate that you're going to pay once a day. It's the interest rate, right? It's currently 0.02%. So 0.002%. That's actually pretty low. But just take that into account. And that is going to influence your liquidation price. So when you go, and then you also have to, after you're done trading, like you're going to continue to get charged that interest as long as you are borrowing that money. So Binance is loan sharking you Bitcoin. So you got to go back in and pay the VIG. You got to go back in and pay the interest and then the amount borrowed. You got to pay down the interest and you got to pay down the principal. So that's how it's going to work. And there are currently, let's go see here. Here we go. Here are the assets that you can currently trade with margin. That's Bitcoin, so let's just go marginable pairs: BNB, BTC, Tron to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin pairs: BNB, Tron, ZERP, and Ethereum. And USDT pairs: BNB, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron, and ZERP. So you can trade all those pairs against Bitcoin and Ethereum, and you can use 3-to-1 margin on those. There is a daily interest rate of 0.02% on all of them, except for BNB, which is 0.1%. Okay, you cannot borrow BNB, but you can borrow BTC, Ethereum, ZERP, Tron, and Tether. So you can now borrow Tether. Way ahead of you, Dr. Angie Stones. Just got to be careful of what I say on the live stream. But thank you. Let's see here. Yep, so you can, there's a borrow limit of 5 Bitcoin, 100 Ethereum, 10,000 ZERP, 10,000 or 100,000 Tron, and $30,000, 30,000 US dollars. So the most that basically they will loan to you is $30,000. And you're going to need $10,000 to take on that $30,000. Because if you have 1 Bitcoin, you can borrow 2. Okay, so that number will go up. So we have Binance launching margin trading on the 10th, Thursday. We have Tether fat fingering some Tether printing and accidentally printing 5 billion Tether when they only meant to print, 500 million, and then immediately burning the 450 million. I don't know. I think that Binance is probably all ready to rock, man. It's Hard says margin, Bitfinex, perpetual swap and scalping on ByBit, and spot Wabi. Not a bad breakdown, man. You liking it? Are you liking it over there on Wabi? All right, let's see here. Good, Naruto. I am very glad to hear that. I cannot say that I am unhappy either. Nice. Noise. I just had about 23,000 shorts get liquidated. Nothing really drastic, nothing really major. We're going to 11,000 again. Thank you so much, American Masterminds. What does margin trading mean for the future price of Bitcoin, in your opinion? It just makes it easier. I don't know. It doesn't really mean anything from a value investor standpoint. Like from a value investor standpoint, I'm bullish on Bitcoin because it's just the same as like buying a valuable stock, right? Bitcoin is valuable because it's damn good tech. So it doesn't really matter what price you buy it in at. It's a good growth stock. It's not a dividend. It's obviously, not stock, but it's a good growth asset. You know, it'd be nice if it paid some form of dividend, but you can invest in mining, but there's not really one good way to do that. Of course, I'd never recommend cloud mining. Again, it would be nice to see, something like, eventually we're going to see all different kinds of cryptocurrency stocks. We're going to see all kinds of different, derivatives of cryptocurrency. Futures trading and options contracts are just the beginning. Bitcoin is a brand new asset class, and we're going to see all forms of derivatives. And that's going to open up all kinds of opportunities for investors. Just like we have treasury bonds, treasury loans. We're going to have the exact same thing with Bitcoin. And this is why I kind of scoff. Again, you have to understand I'm an investor as well. I trade full-time. I trade cryptocurrency full-time. I'm going to be trading cryptocurrency and Forex full-time beginning Q4 of 2019. But I've been trading cryptocurrency full-time for the last 3 years. That is how I make my daily income. It's how I make my monthly income. And then I allocate profits to investments and also to cover my cost of living. But I live pretty frugally. I do not have that conspicuous consumption lifestyle. True freedom is all about cutting costs and living modestly so that you can generate real wealth. Once you get that Lambo concept out of your head, which is what all people who don't understand finance want to do. Once you get the Lambo concept out of your head, then you can actually get on the path toward building real wealth. Angela Hope says, I'm on ByBit and cannot figure out how to turn off leverage and just trade. You just set leverage to 1x if you don't want to trade with any leverage. Contract means position size. So how many dollars do you want to sell at 12,500? So if you want to sell $300 worth of Bitcoin at 12,500, you put in 300. Okay, I've had this pulled up for a while. Let's go over to the chart. No problem, man. Okay, so over on the 4 hour. Let's see here. Did we get the long signal yet? Nope, not yet. And Wadatar explosion is also not a rising explosion level either. But it will be confirming any long signal that is generated from now on. Let's go to the daily and see how the daily's looking. Again, a nice baseline bounce coming up into that cluster of the tertiary and the primary baseline sitting right around 11.1, 11.25. So again, this is really the area to watch. When margin trading, you are not buying the underlying asset, right? It depends on the exchange. So on things like ByBit and on things like BitMEX, you are buying contracts. You are not buying the underlying. On platforms like Bitfinex and Binance, to the best of my knowledge, you are. Because the exchange, or in the case of Bitfinex, for example, a pool of investors do hold the underlying asset and are loaning it to you. And you have to pay the loaner, the bank in this example, right? Essentially, a funding rate for servicing that loan. Did ByBit remove auto leverage option from its platform, or is it only me? It's right. That button's right there for me, man. Okay. What's going on, Aiden? All right, let's slide. Pump it. Let's slide over to. So we looked at Forex. And there's not really, you know what, let's go look at, let's go over here. I already looked at Forex. We already looked at traditional markets. We already looked at equity. We talked about news. Gui, do I recommend anything for a friend, not me, with no know-how, with a lot of capital to learn how to invest generally and money manage just because cracking crypto is most for trading? Yeah, in its current state, we're going to be focusing more on lifestyle and how to build a financial freedom plan. Next year, when we're done with PTP or when we're done with all the course management modules, I'll be working heavily on lower time frame trading modules at that point in time as well. Yeah, we watched it, Mal. We watched it live on the air. TLDR, Bitcoin ain't banned. Get off jank exchanges. What was I going to say? Darn, I lost my train of thought. Let's look at Binba. Binba wants to start at slow pump. ETH wants to start at slow pump. We still got a long ways to go, though, before price is bullish, though, guys. So make sure that you're trading safely, however you want to do it. We don't trade reversals for a very specific reason. Because when you trade reversals, you are not in control. All right, guys, it is 1:55. Let's wrap her up, man. Let's wrap her up. Make sure that you guys trade safely. 4 hours, not signaling a long position yet. We're coming up to that tertiary baseline. And as I said, on the daily, here's our area to watch. 11.1, 11.281. Okay. Got the valid short signal over here on the 13th of July. Riding that out. Right. I was going to recommend something to your friend. Listen, there's a lot of information out there. I'm not going to directly recommend anything actually to learn how to invest. My recommendation to learn how to invest is step one, audit your expenses and look at what expenses you can cut out. If you can save 50% of your money for 10 to 15 years, you can retire. If you only save, 10 to 15%, you're going to work every day until you die, pretty much. You're going to be in your 60s before you retire. So whatever you can do to cut your expenses, cut your costs, and invest your money into the market, then you're going to do well. You're going to do well. User GT3540R, thank you so much for the CAD. $2, my good friend. That's going to buy me 2 cups of American coffee. Thank you so much, my good friend. I would recommend looking at that 11.1, 11.284 area. Okay. But again, keep in mind that's a reversal trade. The trade was on the 13th, so I would wait for a re-entry signal. That on the daily is going to take a while, but again, if you go down to the 4 hour, if you go down to the 1 hour, you're going to get a signal a lot quicker, whatever initiator that you're using. So for example, if on the 4 hour we're coming up to the tertiary baseline, let's say we make it all the way back up. Let's say we make it all the way up to the secondary baseline on the 4 hour. If we then fail and start dropping from there, then most likely Minx will have crossed above the 0 line and then cross back down, and we'll wait for water to confirm a short signal. And that would be a signal to go long. Let's say we don't make it all the way to the secondary baseline. Let's say we fail now. All right, let's say some big shorters step in and just put on their bets with Bitcoin. And we fail, we don't make it all the way up. Well, Minx is crossed within the static line. So then if we cross back outside of static, that's going to be a continuation short. It's also going to be congruent with us closing below the baseline as well. All right. Do gaps always have to get filled? No, nothing ever has to happen. CME gaps have a very good track record in cryptocurrency of getting filled. I will say that. They do. It back tests pretty well. Let's see what else. And then after you've audited your expenses when it comes to investing, just set a plan. Like, determine how much you're going to be able to invest every month. What are you going to set aside to invest? Whether that's stocks, whether that's crypto, whether that's precious metal, doesn't matter. Just invest in something. Just put your money in the market, put your money to work for you. There's smarter ways and dumber ways to invest, but there's good and bad ways to invest, okay? Just, put your money to work for you and develop a plan for the long term. So, and then automate that, right? Automate that with auto deposits, whether you're using, automatic transfers from your bank to Coinbase, whether you're using automatic transfers from your bank to Robinhood or to Wealthfront or to wherever you're putting your money, Just get in that habit consistently monthly of putting your money in the market. And if you're looking at like the stock market, for example, then here's my opinion, and this is going to relate to crypto, and this is going to relate to stocks, and this is going to relate to foreign currency and precious metal. If you buy quality and you invest in quality for the long run, just like if you buy quality things, then you don't have to worry, man. You don't have to worry. If you are patient and long-term thinking, then your investments will pay off as long as you invest in quality stuff. Right? Crypto AK, man, thank you so much for the SEC 50, my good friend. Wish you the best. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, man. Highly appreciate the support. You guys are absolutely awesome. And with that, going out on a high note, let's slide over to this. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Whoa, that was loud. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. My name is Justin Wise. I've been your host today. I am the lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. If you guys would like to join us in our community and learn to trade how we do, how to analyze the markets that we do, and how to trade with 100% confidence and conviction the way that we do, you guys can go over to premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com and see what we have to offer and see if it would benefit you and your goals for trading and investment as well. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed the show and you want to support us, make sure to like, follow, share, subscribe, and engage in the comments section. As always, give that big up to the YouTube algo gods. And if you like the show, but you cannot catch us live every day, go to breakingbitcoin.money. We are a podcast, and add us to your favorite podcast catcher of choice. We are on iTunes, Google Play Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, and many more. You can add the RSS feed manually if you cannot find us there. If you have any comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them in the comments section down below, and I will try to respond to you within the next 48 hours. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow at noon. Trade safely, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.